Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Toyota Land Cruiser car. The following engines were installed in the Toyota Land Cruiser J12. Diesel 3.0 D4D, 163, 166 and 173 hydrogen phosphide, depending on the year. Petrol 4.0, 249 hydrogen phosphide. Operation, opinions and faults. Contrary to popular belief, the Land Cruiser is not an indestructible car. It is closer to the J7 series model, which has been unavailable in Europe for many years. The second-generation Prado model, as the J12 can be called, is a solid and long-lived car, but it also requires good maintenance. That is why I wrote in the introduction that it is an expensive car to maintain. As in almost every off-road vehicle, the most important component is the frame, which tends to corrode, and very seriously. If unprotected in time after buying a new car, it will lose its shine. Despite its relatively young age, there is no shortage of models on the market with a frame that needs to be replaced. There is nothing to even repair. This is where you should start your inspection and be very careful with cars whose frame is protected against corrosion with a black goo called Gearbox. Often, its role is to cover corrosion, not protect against it. The second vulnerable element is the diesel engine, the most popular on our market. In theory, it is the same engine that appeared in the predecessor J9, but it has undergone a thorough modernization. A better injection system has been used, which does not mean it is perfect. It is its faults that often lead to the destruction of the piston. The pistons themselves are considered to be not very durable and have a tendency to crack. The third important point in terms of costs is the air suspension of the rear axle. It is not particularly prone to failure, but the system, valves and bellows may leak. People who have such vehicles often decide to replace this system with a classic system with springs, which is problem-free, but it is worth considering such an operation because the leveling suspension has its advantages. And that's basically it when it comes to bigger problems. The rest are trifles. However, a significant, albeit small fault is the breaking of the aluminum shaft in the ignition. Unfortunately, this failure ends with the inability to start the car. Fortunately, it can be replaced with basic tools. It's worth having one in reserve. Common Toyota Land Cruiser faults: corrosion of the frame and axle at the rear, diesel injection system faults, accumulation of carbon deposits in the intake, burnt or cracked diesel pistons, using a sprocket on the main shaft in a 5-speed manual gearbox, damage to air suspension bellows and valves. Over time, the body attachments to the frame wear out, broken shaft in the ignition. What to look for? Petrol cars. They are safer and may be less worn out, and cars from warm countries, Italy, Spain. What to avoid? Cars with mileage above 350,000 kilometers, especially before facelift, and cars with a frame covered with a fresh layer of thick anti-corrosion agent. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know any problems with this car that I didn't mention, be sure to write about them in the comments.